6 minutes. Y'all ready? I think you're ready. I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Excuse me now. Let me clear my throat. Whoa. The melody. It was I think I improvised that part. We the best. Right? That's what he said. Shamon. Four minutes, baby. Then we're gonna start. Start the show. Yo. When I rock, when I zap, when I stop, when I look at tipper, then I do it non-stop. I said stop too many times, so I'ma just stop. But I'ma just be on top at the end, and then all of my friends will say bye-bye, or they'll have their hand out, or maybe up high, down low, too slow. I go wherever I choose to. Maybe YouTube, do, boo. You need to be like the flag in the flow. I'ma just go, I'm under Joe. I need to get me some lyrics so I can keep on rhyming. Maybe I need some practice. Maybe I need some actresses to be in my feature film, feature this, feature that, feature big black cat. That's dope. Alright. Show starts in 3. Baby. Twitch.tv/R9cast. Yeah. Let me be that guy. Oh, I gotta check my Facebook. Oh shoot. Go back. Zippy now. Let me sing a Kimmy cow. Let me dabba dibby now. Everybody dibby round. Simply amazing, simply the blazing on the tracks, and I be like doing this matter of facts. And if I say bookie is broken, so I ain't joking. I'm just gonna shovel it down to the ground, cause I'm stoking. Look at shit. Anyway, sorry. 2 minutes. We're gonna talk about a little bit of Halo Infinite. We're gonna talk about a little Forza Horizon 4. We're gonna talk about a little bit of the Game Awards. What else? Was there something else? I don't remember. 1 minute, y'all. 1 minute, y'all. 1 minute, y'all. 1 minute, y'all. What's up, y'all? It's the R9cast. That ended abruptly. As R9cast, the Fish by Disc Coco Super Show for R9 and Electron Bandit and AllGames.com. Whoever wants to be a part of the zeitgeist of 4 people. If you want to be part of the show, you can go to Discord. You can go to Twitch, actually. Twitch.tv/R9cast. That's where I be at right now. I'm screaming and streaming. Also, you can go to I was gonna say YouTube, Electron Bandit on YouTube. I don't have that up right now because I don't know. I'm not trying hard enough. I think that's what it is. Bridget's always like, you in too many places. Too many spread out too. I'm like, that's not how it works, kind of, sort of. What's up, Bonds? Yo, Bonds. I totally forgot what your gamer tag was, and I totally forgot what your gamer tag was. So it's BON006, right? I don't know. Let me know. If it is, then I'll be like, cool. Then it's locked in the brains. I think that's what it was. But, I was like, what is it again? I know it wasn't Bonds. It was like, I think it's just Bond. 006. I think that was. I couldn't remember. But thanks for showing up, Preesh. I expect to hear tales of cuisine, of magnifique, maybe? Yes, Bond 006. Thank you. I will find you on Xbox tonight, hopefully. And click clack, we be friends. We'll be friends. I've been working 6 days, a lot of hours a day. That's why I'm tired. I'm tired because of that. Also, it's that time of the year. It's that most wonderful time of the year. Yeah, that guy. So I have a place. I think mine is Lord SG on PlayStation, but I gave away my PlayStation 3, where I created the account, so I have no idea. I guess, can I check on PlayStation.com? Right? I could do that, right? Let me see. Hey, wow, I'm big. Hold up. That's I'm too big. I am too. That's what she said. All right. So, PlayStation.com. Right? That's what we got to do? PlayStation.com? I don't know. I never tried it. PlayStation.com. And US. Let's see what this website is about. It feels kind of I'm be for real. Oh, Bonds 006 on Steam. True. I think I'm Lloyd SG on Steam too. I don't remember. Okay, so PlayStation. This feels real big. This website. This is PlayStation.com. This feels little basic. I don't know. I know Rafa can make something like this. It's a huge corporation. I'm like, is this really what? This is the PlayStation? I know it's HTML5 because it looks just like all the HTML5 sites that I've ever seen, except they just put their own they put their own things in it. Let me see if I can. Sorry. Let me see if I can sign in. I don't remember. I gotta move this. Y'all ain't getting my info. I don't. Did I use my? Let's see. I'm pretty sure that's not the pass. No, that's not it. Maybe that's it. Nope, that's not it either. That's not it either. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't remember. Never mind. if I ever get another PlayStation console, I will just redo it. I'm not. I mean, you can make a billion accounts on it. Back for Blood. Oh, Back for Blood. Yeah. That was the Game Awards happened. That's the other thing we were talking about. The Game Awards. Kind of, sort of. Perfect Dark. That's the other thing. Let me find the trailer. Perfect Dark. What's so good and stuff. I put it in the title and I don't remember. I did not remember. There it is. Pause. All right, so only 511,000 views. How dare you? How dare you, YouTube? Algorithm. Is that really YouTube's fault for the algorithm not being super dope? I don't know. But yeah, we can go back to the other screen with the stuff and stuff. For now. Bam. So Xbox. So Blizzard. No, I don't even have a Battle.net or whatever it is. I'm not even on. Actually, you know, that's a lie. Cause I played World of Warcraft for like 2 seconds. I was like, I wonder what this is about. I went in World of Warcraft, and I was running around. I was like, I cannot even start to begin to get into this right now. So I was like, nah. So I stopped and did it. I didn't continue my ventures in World of Warcraft. But yeah, you know. Anyway, so Perfect Dark, Forza Horizon, Halo Infinite. Let's see. Let's start with Forza Horizon 4. Let's start with these Republicans being no, just playing. Let's start with Texas. I hate when people are like, these Republicans, these Democrats. It's like, come on, son. We all people, right? So if you look at it, anyway, the history of America is very interesting. You look back, what a Republican used to be, what a Democrat is, crazy. It'd be like, what? Oh, what happened? And it's like crazy. Anyway, Texas is out their mind. I was like, Civil War is about to happen. I always thought it was going to happen sooner or later, but it's not really, but kind of, sort of, whatever. Anyway, video games, because that's where we go to escape the craziness that is Civil War 2. Did you ever think that those words would be uttered and sputtered? Civil War. You got World War I. You got World War II. People talk billions of movies made about World War. Oh, it's World War III. DEFCON 21. DEFCON 69. Right? Civil War II. You ever think? If those 100 and something whatever Congress representatives get together and get all their militia, get the I thought that the Proud Boys wasn't really racist and stuff. I heard what did I hear? I think he was on a podcast and I was listening to him. He's like, "Oh, we're not really. We're just, blah blah blah." And so I was like, "Oh, it doesn't sound as that bad when he says it, the way that he's saying it, right?" And then everybody else is like, "Nah, they're bad." I'm like, I don't know. I mean, they must be not good because if they have the anyway, doesn't matter. Video games. So, Forza Horizon 4, still alive, still kicking, still spinning its wheels. Right? I booted it up yesterday, day before, whatever it was, because they dropped the freaking, I forgot what it's called, but they got the Cyberpunk car in there. I was like, it's bet you $1,000 million it drives better than freaking Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk. I was like, psh. So I bitted it up, and I was like, man, this is a whack ass paint job. Went in there, I put my carbon fiber matte finish on it. I was like, you know what? And I was like, man, these rims is kind of whack. Let me see if I can. Oh, you could change the rims on it, man. Look, Forza Horizon 4 is the greatest racing game ever created. Period. Now, not simulation. I'm just saying, generally speaking, racing game. Just a driving. Just call it a driving game. Because honestly, there's races in it. But honestly, sometimes you just want to drive around and jump over stuff, right? That leads me to the Forza Horizon update that they put out. Pause. That they put out. I'll put it full screen. that they put out, I don't know, a couple days, 20 days ago? 3 days ago. Let me change this thing. Hold on. Let me click and drag. Hold on a second. 3 days ago, they put this out. You're not going to hear nothing, but you'll see the stuff, right? So 3 days ago, they put this out. Let me make me a little bit bigger. Wrong thing. Let me make me a little bit bigger. There you go. And so 3 days ago, they put this out, and I was like, what is this? What is it called? Super 7 or something? I was like, what is this? And I realized, oh, this is what Forza has been missing, because I remember back in the day thinking, man, you know that mode in Grand Theft Auto 5 where you could just build all kind of crazy stunt loops and all kind of stuff. I wish Forza had that. And what did they do? They did exactly that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And you could build your crazy stunt loop course, and then you share it online, and people could drive. You could race with it. Super 7. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, this is the best. It's the best thing ever. It's not the best thing ever, but everybody's crying about Cyberpunk. But it was so cool. It was so cool. I was like, oh man. And it came up, right? Like I was messing with the Cyberpunk car. I was like, Cyberpunk car. I was just driving on a regular map. And then I saw a Super 7 in one of the menus, and I was like, what's Super 7? That's probably a race or something. Oh, whatever. I didn't realize what it was. I think the name Super 7 is a bad name because it doesn't actually kind of explain. It's just very vague. It sounds like an event. It sounds like, 7 races, and then you're the best. You race against a camel, and then a horse, and then a puppy. Or, I don't know, you race against all kind of crazy stuff in Forza. I'm just saying, it's a little vague. But if you call it Super Stunt 7 or something, or Stunt Show Toy Pack or something, I don't know, then it's different. Then it's like, oh, okay. But it's cool. I was like, this is what we need. And you could do some loopies. You can make your own Hot Wheel. Well, not really Hot Wheels track, but that would be cool if they could do another deal with Hot Wheels and you could build your own Hot Wheels track. That makes more sense. Like a new Hot Wheels expansion, maybe Forza Horizon 5. And, you get all the branding or whatever. But now you have the Super 7 expansion with the Hot Wheels, so you could be like, bloop, bloop, put the all everywhere. That'd be dope. You know what I mean? Combo that stuff up. And more kind of cross promotional things, like the Cyberpunk car. I like the Halo Warthog. Give me some more. Give me Knight Rider. You know what I mean? Give me the DeLorean. Back to the Future. Come on, son. I know they didn't get the license, but if wow, I just totally Burnout Paradise could do it, then they didn't really do it, but they did it kind of sort of. Yeah, I can do it too. Or this is what I said. This is what I said in my mind, right? Since Cyberpunk is so cool and they got marketing. I mean, it's cool, but the game is like, but the concept of Cyberpunk is like, yes, Cyberpunk, yeah. So what I was saying in my mind was, to no one else, just to me, was take Night City. Take the map of Cyberpunk. Legend, aloha legend. How are you? Hope everything's good down over there in the island. If they took the map of Cyberpunk and dumbed it down, made it race ready, made it a Forza Horizon, call it Forza Horizon Cyberpunk. I don't know what you want to call it. Cyber Horizon Forza Punk. Whatever you want to call it. And just have Forza Horizon in the Cyberpunk map. But like I said, tweak it so that it works for Forza. You don't need to go into the buildings. You don't need all that other extra stuff. Just drive in. Do that. I'd be down with that. That'd be a cool expansion. Like they did the Fast and the Furious. That was just the cars in the map that they made. Or make your own Forza Night City, or call it Sunset City. Sunset City. Wow. Okay, too soon. Call it Nova City. I don't know. Call it something. These are all cities that have been used in different. Anyway, just call it something that's not Night City. Call it, I don't know, Dawn City or something. And it's like adjacent. It's like, oh, that's the next town over from Night City, and it's like still cyberpunky, but it's not the same map, so they can do whatever they want with it. That way, boom. And they just got Cyberpunk floating, flying cars. I want some hover cars. You know what I mean? Come on, son. Let's go. Let's get into the future. Horizon's destiny is to be a futuristic type of racer. Not like, like F-Zero or something like that, but I mean just kind of dip your toe into like a boop into the futurisms. I would be down with that. In the back of the screen at the back right here, you see where right? It's like right here. Master Chief, that's not Master Chief. That's just Halo graphics. It's cut off because I downloaded the 4K pictures, assets from the website, Xbox, to whatever it is, news.xbox.com, Wire, Xbox Wire, whatever. And I put it in my rotation, and they're 4K images, and I have my monitor set to 1440p. That's why it's cut off. Anyway, back to Forza. If they could do something like that, I'll be down. I mean, they can put one car in. I mean, I would say put more cars in. Give me 5-6 cars from Cyberpunk. I'd be straight. I'd be like, okay, that's pretty dope. Thanks. Give us a Cyberpunk racer. Like I said, set in the equivalent to Night City or whatever. Doesn't have to be the same exact. I mean, if they can get a deal, I mean, I'm sure they can make a deal. They got all the monies. They're happy-go-lucky with CD Projekt Red. They can make it happen if they wanted to. But honestly, I don't think the way that they built Night City, the roads and all that stuff, is conducive for actual Forza Horizon racing. You need them long stretches of roads. You know what I'm saying? Long stretch. I mean, they have them on the outskirts and the Badlands and all that stuff. But inside the city, it'd be kind of maybe. But anyway, that would be kind of interesting. And I'm trying to see where, I mean, Forza Horizon, the what is it? The rumor is that Forza Horizon 5 will be out before Forza Motorsport. I'm fine with that. That's fine. Let Turn 10 take their time with Forza Motorsport. I'm fine. But my thing is where, even though Playground Games has consistently improved on the Forza Horizon formula, every single game in that series has gotten better. Consistently better. That's hard to do. They're on number 4. They gotten better from 1 to 2 to 3. That's hard to do. Right? So, like, how long can they keep that up? So I'm like, that's what my brain's like, okay, what can they do? What else can they do to make Forza Horizon better? And now they added with the Super 7. Okay, if that was in Forza Horizon 5, like, yo, Forza, we got Super 7 Plus, we're going to have some license stuff. They always do a license deal with something. So I'm like, all right. So I like what they're doing with Forza Horizon. They continually improve it. They continually add things that make it a more valuable and worthwhile experience. That's more than I can say for the regular Forza Motorsport and Gran Turismo Sport, Drive Club, all those other racers, even Dirt. It's like Dirt's alright, but is Dirt really Forza Horizon? No, not really. I mean, what's so good about Forza Horizon and what's so bad about Dirt. Dirt is a specific type of game. It's an off-road rally, right? It's that type of game, which is fine, right? But Forza Horizon exists. So within Forza Horizon, you could create Dirt 5 if you wanted to. They got the different seasons. They could do that. They have weather in Forza Horizon. So there's like nothing. That's Forza Horizon. Anyway, I like it. It's one of the best games on the Xbox, honestly. It's one of the best. I would say that Playground is one of their best. It's not there. They're in the top 10 definitely of the. I can say that because they have more than 10 studios now. But yeah. Anyway, Forza dope. So let's talk about Perfect Dark. The next thing that's on the list. Perfect Dark. So Perfect Dark is, I guess, is beloved. For me, is it beloved? No, because I never played the first original Perfect Dark. I heard about it. Like, I played some of Perfect Dark Zero. I was like, okay, this is. I don't know what this is. This is supposed to be good. I heard the first one's good. This, that, and they were like, nah, that's not good. I was like, okay, I knew it wasn't good, but I was just checking because I ain't played the first one. And I was like, I was like, okay, it's just trying to be futuristic, but it felt real goofy. It was like whatever. But I didn't invest in what the actual potential of Perfect Dark was and is, right? So, it is futuristic in the sense that, when it exists, And I think they had a hard time conveying that in Perfect Dark Zero, even though the graphics were a little better than the original, but it just didn't. It was like, and it didn't feel as much of a spy game as I guess this purports to be. So I'm looking at this trailer. I'm like, okay, all right, that's CG, whatever. I mean, what's the gameplay like? Is it going to be first person? Is it going to be third person? Gallagher, the guy who's in charge of the studio initiative, he was running Tomb Raider and all the games. Those are all third person games. So will it be a third person game? That's the question, right? Should it be a third person game? That's another question, right? I played the Perfect Dark games. It was to give us a female James Bond. Yeah. That's true. And that's fine because, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft was the female Indiana Jones. So, there's precedent for that type of stuff. But I think they kind of cracked open a universe or a possibility of a cool universe without having the technology like for the first game to really see it to its kind of total to fruition in a way. And then they screwed up Zero because it was buggy, and Rare made that. And Rare's, yes, they made the first one, but if Infinity Ward made it, right, then that's like, oh, okay, Call of Duty team made the first, or made Perfect Dark Zero, then it would be a different game. It would probably be dope and fly, and then that's what we'd be playing instead of COD. It would be Perfect Dark, Cold War, or whatever. Legend says Perfect Dark might get me to buy an Xbox, but who knows how many years out that is. That's true. It was the spiritual successor to James Bond GoldenEye. It was like a futuristic spy game, but it will hold up. But will it hold up 20 years later? I don't know. That's true. I think what the initiative is doing is smart because they're taking a page from what Sony did with God of War, right? God of War was tired and it had aged poorly in a way because that type of game is like, nah. That type of game is like, that's not a AAA game anymore. Like the old God of War games, like God of War 1, 2, 3, Ascension, not a AAA game anymore. That's like an indie game for real. Even though that's bad to say, right now, that's not a AAA game. You can't put that moniker on it, right? So what they did was they made God of War a AAA game. Now how did they do that? They changed the look, they changed the feel, they made it, they infused the cinematic nature of it, the one shot nature of the game. They did that thistle, and they made it AAA, right? And so Opti, the Perfect Dark reveal was a CG trailer. Yes, we know, Opti. It's not. I'm not talking about the fact that. Do you remember God of War 2018 reveal gameplay, son? It was gameplay, yes, but it was not the real gameplay. Much like the Last of Us Part 2 gameplay, they play that stuff on their dev kits. That's what they do, right? And as we know, the dev kits have way more powers than the actual retail kits. So if you look at the gameplay from the first Last of Us 2, and then you look at the actual gameplay, one thing specifically that irks me so much about Last of Us 2 in particular is the contact shadows are missing on the actual gameplay. Oh yeah, that's true. That's right. Opti. You're right about that. But I'm not sure if it was exactly gameplay. I think they were just like target render, but they ended up making it look better. That's true though. That's true. I'm not hating on God of War, because that's the best thing that Sony's ever made. Period. So that's cool. And what the initiative, I believe, is doing, I hope this is like a third person game. There's a thing, like, first person games have to be made a certain way, right? You look at Halo, you look at Call of Duty, and then you have Respawn. And I would say, and of course, Bungie. So you got 4 studios that know how to do first person games, period. You got Bungie. I'm going to give it to 343. They know what they're doing, right? You can't front. Halo 4 and Halo 5, even though it's not Bungie, still good games, you know. Who did I say? I said Bungie, 343. I just totally forgot the other 2 that I just said. But they know how to make first-person games, not CD Projekt Red. So making a first-person, like, if this is a first-person game, I mean, the initiative, they're new, right? So can they do it? You know, that's yet to be seen. But Daryl Gallagher's history is with third-person narrative type games, so I would expect it to be a third-person game. And the thing is like, Perfect Dark doesn't need to be a first-person game. Infinity Ward, I did say that. Infinity Ward Respawn is the other one. But I said somebody else, so, well, I'll just say not Infinity Ward, but all of the COD studios. So COD, Call of Duty, Respawn, Bungie, and 343, right? So, you know, like I said, the initiative's hasn't been proven. There's a brand new studio, so, and it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while for them to bust this out, and it might not be, you know, like if you look at Turn 10, the first 2 Forza games are not the best. I mean, they're not garbage, but they're like, oh, this is a racing game. This is like by the book a racing game. It's not whack, but it's like, this feels like a racing game. This feels like a Gran Turismo game. You know, that's what they did. Then Forza 3 came out. I was like, what? Wait, what is this here? You know what I'm saying? So it took them 2 games to get it going. This is a different animal, because if you look at Forza, that was a bad comparison. But Forza, you got physics, you have all these systems as far as cars, and it's a specific type of thing that you have to nail with racing games, right? But this, yes, you have to nail the physics and all the collision, but that's all basic stuff, right? But a game like this is more about narrative and presentation, set pieces. So it's different in that respect. So they have more of a, I guess, a better chance of like knocking it out of the park first go around than, you know, building like a studio to make a baseball game or something like that, right? Because that's like, oh, that's specific. You got to get baseball right. You know what I'm saying? There's these things you got to get, which is all of these things. You know, there's no cinematics or there's no set pieces in baseball. It's just baseball. This is like a movie. This is like all those games that Sony makes that are cinematic type of games where there's third person shooty gameplay. There's some sneaky, you know. But if you separate the gameplay from the cinematics in those Sony games like The Last of Us 2, Uncharted, God of War, right? If you just look at the gameplay, it's like, okay, they're good games, but are they like 10 out of 10 masterpiece games? Just the gameplay? I wouldn't say that. I would say that the cinematics and the presentation and the quality of the acting and all that stuff raises it up, you know? And so if your game doesn't have that, if your game has whack-ass actors, then you ain't getting it. You ain't getting Game of the Year, you know what I mean? The Last of Us Part 2 didn't get Game of the Year because of the gameplay. It got Game of the Year because of the acting and the presentation. And that's the thing. And so that's what the initiative has, that's what they're tasked to do. And I'm kind of interested. I'm not hyped. I'm not like, oh man, this is going to be the best. Nah, I'm just like, something new would have been cool, but they have, at this point, Microsoft, Xbox has a giant catalog of IPs right now. That's not even counting the ZeniMax stuff that's not final yet. We're going to get to there. Opti says Last of Us 2 hater. Last of Us 2 swept all the awards. No. Ghost of Tsushima got voice awards. Got the Player's Choice Awards, if you will, if you want to call it that. And Flight Simulator got Simulator Award. The best, whatever it was. I don't know. So they didn't sweep the awards. Sweeping the awards is getting everything. They didn't get everything. They got what? They got 2 or 3 or something like that? They got the director. And then they got the voice actor, right? Which was Ashley, right? Or was it? No, it was the other, Laura Bailey. Laura Bailey won. They got 6. Was it music too? They got all they were nominated in. Yeah, okay, I guess. I mean, I wasn't paying too much attention to all that stuff, but they shouldn't have got. They got Game of the Year. Okay, they got Game of the Year, Best Director, Best Voice Actor. Did they get music? Huh. Oh no, and they got the accessibility award. That's right. So I got 4, right? So game, director, actor, accessibility. What are the other 2? Was it music and what else? Technical? I don't know. But they didn't get simulation. They didn't get the Player's Choice Awards, which is super important because guess what we are? We're the players. And that's the thing, right? You know, there were stories about how, you know, Naughty Dog is with all the crunch and stuff. And there were articles about, why did they get an award? They were just killing their employees to get this stupid game out. And is it really worth it? I mean, if you gain a reputation, a bad reputation, is it worth it going through the horrors to get your game nominated? And in an award show, that doesn't really mean anything. All award shows are pageantry to make you feel good about what you did. It doesn't, I mean, it may affect sales, but at this point, if you haven't sold enough copies of The Last of Us Part 2, then winning at an award show ain't gonna do nothing for you. Sorry. You have to already be a success to be like, yay, we had success. That's why we won. I mean, honestly, if the award shows didn't exist, it wouldn't matter to Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo. It's about the money. And a lot of the times, these award shows are about the money too. It's like, Jeff needs to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, hey, this is this one's brought to you by Taco Bell. This one's brought to you by Gatorade. I'm like, oh yeah, they paid for this award so that they can have a show, and that's the business of award shows. So you're looking at award shows and you're like, yay, we won, yeah. It's like it's not really a big thing. And also, you have to think about who's voting on these things, right? If it was all about the people, like the gamers, and not the press or wherever, would The Last of Us 2... I don't think The Last of Us 2 would have won so many awards. It would have probably been award bombed. Is that just like it was review bombed? Just like Cyberpunk is getting review bombed right now, like a 2.5 or something. It's getting hammered because it's like the game is a hot mess. And I'm like, well, I guess I can wait for that bad boy. I'm not worried about it. I mean, look, CD Projekt Red, Witcher 3 was rough when it launched, but that's not the problem with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's problem is that, we'll get back to this Perfect Dark and all that. Cyberpunk's problem is that it's not, the side stuff, the story, the writing isn't as good as what The Witcher 3 presented. And that's the main problem, because that was the promise of Cyberpunk. That was the promise that The Witcher put out there, said, yo, our little side stories that aren't even the main story, they're crazy nice and dope and crazy and nice. And you want to do all that stuff because it's so good, the writing's so good. And then you play Cyberpunk and you're like, oh, this is... I mean, there's some good stuff, I guess, but I haven't played it. But all the stuff I've been hearing, I'm like, Anyway, I have a positive tending, I guess, inclination on the abilities of the initiative. I mean, there hasn't been anything to prove otherwise yet. This trailer is like a nothing trailer. Is it possible to actually do this trailer in engine, if you will? Yeah, I would say like games by the end of this generation will definitely look like this. This is similar to the that Unreal 5 demo where they're flying around and Lumen in the Valley of the whatever's. Similar to that. Even that fire was kind of like, oh, that looked like video game fire. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's nothing super spectacular about this trailer, even though CG is like, yeah, but video games could look like this. Remember back in the day, you see like a cinematic, and it was like, I mean, you're talking about back in the day, like, yo, look at those graphics, and it's like not even close. And then you remember when it's like, oh man, I can't wait until the day when the cinematics are actual, look like the gameplay looks like these cool cinematics. And we have passed that. We passed that. Remember, like, you looking back at, I can't remember what games. It's just some games that are like, oh man. And you look at the graphics today, it's like, dang, that's the gameplay. And we're spoiled. We're getting all these good looking games, And now it's like, But let's see. We can get out of here. Bye-bye, Cyberpunk. Perfect Dark. But I have a positive leaning towards Perfect Dark. I don't see any reason why it would be whack. And honestly, I think it's all really about the story and the writing. Voice actors wise, whoever they used for her voice acting for that little bit was cool. I was like, okay, she sound good. Let's go. So I can listen to that for 10, 12, 15 hours. And honestly, I think that's what it's going to be. And it might be 20 hours, maybe. But I think they're going to have to, in order to get this game out, is to really, I think the industry as a whole has to change. No, I'm going to take that back. I think Sony needs to realize that they cannot afford to do a Spider-Man. I mean, Miles Morales is still a little on the short side, but I think that's more akin to what game length, especially those type of games, should be, where the cinematic movie type of games, 20 hours max, 15 to 20 hours, that's a good length. If you're doing 25, 30, a lot of that, there's going to be a chunk of that game that's going to be a hot garbage, and you're going to hate it because they need to pad the game to make it longer, blah, blah, blah. That's what happens, when you do that. And like even the side stuff in, like, I guess The Last of Us Part 2, there was a kind of a tangential type of mission thing that was like, oh, you didn't even have to do this. And I was like reading about it. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound too pleasant. And people were like, I hated that part of the game, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, see, you could have cut 5-10 hours, and it still would have been good at 15 hours or however long it was. You know what I mean? So I think cutting the fat, I mean, it's just like a movie, right? They cut some stuff for time and just for pacing. And so these games are like movies in that they're trying to be cinematic and be storytelling devices in a way that movies are. So they need to be succinct and they need to be tight. And that means, we're not going to put in this stealth mission that's hot garbage that nobody wants to play just because you want to add an hour to the gameplay ticker. You know what I mean? People are like, no. Know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. I think these games are going to start to come back to a reasonable size. And with that, they can be like, boom, we put out a game in 2 to 3 years, like how it used to be, right? But you're still getting that high quality, but at a shorter experience. But you put that out, you put it on a second team, you have things kind of working in tandem, with the main game. So you got DLC or whatever, or second part or whatever. So Perfect Dark comes out, right? And in the meantime, Joanna's Ghosts or whatever, the expansion to Perfect Dark, and people, and maybe 3 months after the release of Perfect Dark, or maybe 6 months after, you get DLC or whatever. And, that's maybe 5 hours. And you keep that cadence up, boom. Halo Infinite is going to be a test because that's how they're going to kind of do it. They're going to have updates every, year or 6 months or whatever they're going to do. So that'll be interesting. Legend says two things. What is Perfect Dark in 2020 X or 2021? The first Perfect Dark was a game on the N64. How far is this game out? This could be a total vaporware. It might not even exist. It might just be an idea. Back to the first question. We don't even know what it is. Yeah, that's true. I actually, is there a thing? Oh, it was in the video that they had showed where they were talking about, because this studio's been around for, was it last year? I think they formed last year sometime. Oh, I think it's been about a year. And they were talking about, what can we do? What are we going to do? Blah, 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 right? And so they were like, we'll do a Perfect Dark game. And they're like, what can we do? And so they've already decided what the game is about. And it's about eco-terrorism? I think it's eco-terrorism or eco-terrorism as it pertains to corporations and capitalism or something. It's, spy stuff, And when Nick said that, I was like, that sounds like, was it the which James Bond movie was it with the dude from, I forgot his name too. Wow, I forget everybody's name. But he was from, I forgot the name of the movie that I'm trying to reference. Something Wicked thinks this way comes. I think he plays the devil. And he was the bad guy. No One Lives Forever. That's like the new one. So it doesn't matter. The point is that it was like eco-terror. It's a lot of kind of James Bond type spy. We're going to have a weather. It's like G.I. Joe too. We got a weather dominator or whatever it's called. Control the weather. All this crazy stuff. And I'm like, okay, all right. And they showed the satellite, right? So maybe it's a satellite controlling the weather or something. Well, the satellite was just zooming in. But anyway, interesting that they're going this route. It's like, it's kind of rooted in reality, but it's sci-fi. What they call it? Sci-fi, environmental sci-fi, some. I can't remember, but I was like, okay, that doesn't sound bad, right? And now with the bad taste of cyberpunk in our mouths, our collective mouths, we're like, oof. So if it was like super cyberpunk, because like they were kind of had cyberpunk tendencies in the at least Perfect Dark. Zero, a little bit. I was like, So since they are going in this direction where it's like kind of real world but futuristic but sci-fi but so I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Corporations, espionage, so I'm like, good. This seems like the right way to go. But like you said, Legend, what is this game? Is it first person? Is it third person? Blah 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 blah. So all those things are unknown. This game is way out. It's I would say at least 3 years out at the earliest. So 2023. I'm going to say 2024. I'm going to say at the release of the next Xbox, which is the Xbox Series X Pro. it's the RDNA 3 Xbox basically. Because AMD is already ready to shove RDNA 3 out probably in the spring. RDNA 3 and Ryzen 4. I don't know. It's whatever the next jump is. And they said the next jump is going to be even better than this jump. And I'm like, oh my God, how can you be better? It's like, we can be better. It's like this jump is 7 nanometer. They go into 5. I'm like, y'all look crazy. It's like, yes, we are. We keep it moving. So I'm like, yo, by the time Perfect Dark is ready, the next consoles will be almost ready, I would say. It might make it in just before the next consoles jump off, but I'm going to say 4 years. 2024, fall 2024, that's when the next leap of console technology is going to be around. And I'm going to say Perfect Dark maybe squeaks in late 2023. If not, it's for the next version. Legends asks, did I miss something? Why is Cyberpunk bad? there's many. From what I know, I did not buy the game because I don't have a next gen console. They're saying don't buy it for the old gen, last gen stuff because buggy, horrible, not good, right? And besides the performance stuff, they're saying, the game itself, like, Keanu's performance is Keanu's performance. It's not the best. Or, I didn't expect Keanu Reeves to be like, oh, this is the best thing. He's not the best emoter of vocal talents. That's not him. He's like a good-looking guy who does stuff, He's always been good-looking, and then he does stuff, right? And, like, John Wick was like a switch where it's like, oh, this is a handsome man. He's handsome, but nah, he's shooting fools because you killed his puppy. Spoilers. So, the Keanu part is kind of bad. And the thing about that is that he is an integral part of the game, and he's in a lot of the game. So the fact that he's not like the best thing, kind of brings it down a little bit. But I think Giant Bomb was talking about how all the different factions were kind of inconsequential, and it's kind of racist. It's a whole bunch of things. They went on for a while. I was like, dang, really? I guess I can wait. Yeah, I'm definitely waiting. I'm not like, yeah. But mainly, it's really about the performance. Especially on last gen, it's like, don't even play it. It's like, you're not gonna get ray tracing, obviously, but it's just not, whatever. Legend says, I just started it. The game is great. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it does run on old gen systems because it's not an old gen game. It's the next gen game, just packaged to be an old gen system. Yeah, you're playing the PS4 Pro version on your PS5. So, you get 60 frames pretty much if you're doing performance mode, I believe. So that's good. You get the high frame rates. But the problem with the PS5 version, which is the PS4 Pro version right now, is that you don't have the density that the Xbox Series X version has on graphics mode or pretty mode, whatever it's called. Like, so the Xbox Series X has the best population density and vehicle density, and then PlayStation has the better frames as far as performance, and then everything else is just like blah, whatever. It's like, don't play it. Legend says it's like the 60 is doing great. Yeah, there's a little glitch every once in a while, but the patch just came out today. Yeah, there was a patch. I think I saw a video on that. There was a patch that was supposed to fix the floating weapons after you kill people, and I think it was Digital Foundry was playing it, and it was like, yeah, it didn't fix it. It's like, I just got the patch, and look, the guns are still floating. I'm like, well, whatever. So yeah, they've got to fix it. They've got some patches to run, but yeah, I mean, it's like little stuff like that. So I don't know when the next gen versions of that game's supposed to be out, but that's what I'm gonna wait for. I don't have a console to play it on yet, but at least I have something to, like, oh, once that's out, like, oh, now I can go get me an S. I'm just gonna get an S, and I won't feel bad about it. I won't feel bad about waiting, and I won't feel bad about waiting about. Well, I have to wait for the console because there are none anywhere. So, but yeah, that's what I heard. So I was like, all right. But besides that, and the fact that the side quests and stuff aren't as good as what The Witcher put out, I'm like, like, if it was as good, I would be like, all right. And these are from people who have, like, finished the game, I mean, they finished the main story, I guess I can say. So maybe they didn't dive into, like, the best parts of the game. See, I don't know. It's hard to say. The game just came out, so. But, it's all good. But yeah, Cyberpunk. And the newest news was that Sony is giving refunds to people who don't like Cyberpunk or whatever, for, I guess, PlayStation players. I could go through a long list of games that didn't work at launch. It's just another one of them. You get to wait for the patch. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm like, they'll get there. It's be fine. But I mean, the main thing is, like, all the side stories and all the side quests and stuff. Are those dope, or are they, like, kind of whack? And that's the main thing. If that's not that great, then it's like, But as far as what I've seen, I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool, but whatever. But Sony's giving refunds to people who want them, I guess, on PlayStation. And the only reason they're doing that is because Microsoft has the marketing. That's the only reason. They wouldn't be if Sony had the marketing for Cyberpunk, they wouldn't be giving out refunds. That's some bullshit. Bond says, check out the cast of BBC show His Dark Matter. His Dark Matter. Yeah, I watched the first season of that. Or I forgot how much I watched it. But that's just basically I was gonna say the Polar Express. It's what the hell is that movie called with Daniel Craig and the polar bear, and there's polar bears in this one too, but that's the movie you're talking about, right? His Dark. Yeah, that's it. No, it's a series with homegirl from Logan. She's good. I like her. Abdi says, I feel so sad for Xbox owners stuck with Cyberbug 2077. Opti, the game is buggy across all. That game is buggy, period. Doesn't matter what version you're playing, is buggy. The PC version is the best version. Still buggy. Giant Bomb, they were playing the PC version. Still buggy. So your attempt at a diss on Xbox is just false. Fake news. Trump. I'm gonna call you Trump. Trump. I'm gonna call you Julie Opti. So I'm gonna call you Julie Opti because basically you're just yes, the Golden Compass. Thank you, Bonds. That would have made me run crazy in my brain. Let's see. I heard the Xbox One S can't even run it. That's not true. It just runs it like crap. Opti says Series X can't even run on stable 60 frames per second. PS5 can. It drops frames occasionally, barely. But you know what? You want to know why? A, resolution's higher. K, that matters. B, larger density of NPCs and vehicles. You look at the PlayStation 5 version, it's like a desert. You're inside the middle of the city. It's like a desert. It's like 2 people. You look at the Xbox Series X version, mad people everywhere, mad cars. I'd rather have a populated city that's kind of framey occasionally with better graphics. Or not better graphics. PS5 had a clearer picture. But still, it's like it's like they chose to have less people in their night city but have higher frames. You see what I'm saying? I mean, Xbox could do the same thing and be like, "Oh well, we're gonna do the same thing, same amount of population, people, and have the constant frames." They could do the same thing. If you think they can't, then you're mistaken. And the fact that you're like, "Oh, Xbox, the freaking PlayStation 5 can't even put more people in the street because it's so weak." It's like, here's 60 frames, but we can't put an extra person on it because then it would go down. Legend says, remember that whole game called Grand Theft Auto that didn't work at launch? Come on, man. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's very, very true. Yeah, a lot of games come in. I mean, this season, I guess, or I mean, it's a launch season too, but this particular time is everything's coming in hot. PlayStation 5 came in hot. I mean, it runs hot. Xbox Series X, coming in hot. These games are coming in hot. Halo would have came in molten. It would have been a volcano on fire if they would have tried to release it, which I'm glad they didn't. We're going to talk about Halo in a second. Halo Infinite. Opti says, most powerful console, my ass. It is. I mean, you know, I haven't been like kind of harping on that point because it takes time for them to get their stuff together. And the thing is, it's like, oh, that's why if you look at what Halo Infinite was, they showed in July or June, whatever, right? And you look at that, it's like, yo, that's like hot garbage. But the two things they were trying to do with Halo Infinite, with that demo, they said, I have it right here. Let me pull it up. Bam, bam. The two things they said were that they were trying to focus on frames and resolution. They wanted 60 frames at 4K native. And they achieved that. 4K native, 60 frames. Name me a PlayStation 5 game that does that. Okay, I think Miles Morales does that. Maybe. I'm trying to think. Although it might be reconstructed. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell anymore. All right, so. Halo Infinite, right? Halo Infinite, we saw the thing. We saw Craig. We were like, what the hell is this? What are you doing, 343? I was like, and I put my hands in my pocket, put my head down, I started kicking rocks because I was like, this is hot garbage. I don't care about Halo right now. Halo is like stupid. Now you've been seeing the backgrounds. That's all the graphics that they have. So Joe Staten, like Staten Island, but I'm gonna say Staten because that's how they say it. Hello, gobbity gobbity, yabbity ya. I'm a dude, used to be with Halo, now I'm back with Halo. Yeah, we don't need to read that. Let's see. Thanks to Joseph, in the months since our campaign demo, the team has been heads down working on everything from lighting to fog to wear and tear to Spartan armor, as you'll see further down below. We know the community has been eager to hear about it and see the improvements and progress the team has made since July. So today, we're joined by a few members, blah, blah, blah. So this is multiplayer, basically. This is a little multiplayer shot. I'm looking at that. Oh, I'm in the way. Let me make myself smaller, tiny. I could move myself over, but I don't wanna. I'll move myself over. Hello. Zip. Nah, I'll stay there. Who cares? Anyway, so this is like a multiplayer level map thing or whatever. Let me see, let's zoom in a little bit here. So they have multiplayer map work progress. So I was looking at. I'll show you the one I was looking at. Like, this is kind of cool. It's got this little insignia here. I guess that's a spawn point. I'm not too sure what that is. But I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, that looks okay. Yeah. I mean, is there ray tracing? Maybe. I'm looking at ambient occlusion. I'm looking at reflections, reflective surfaces. I'm like, I mean, I think this can be achieved without ray tracing. So this probably isn't, especially if they bake the lights and stuff. Then so it's not a big deal. Back in July, our teams pulled together a slice representation of that introduced games. Blah blah blah. First look at Master Chief with the grapple shot. Blah blah blah. Can you speak about the demo and the team's perspective? Blah blah blah. While the aspect generally landed as we wanted, the reality is that art and visuals weren't at the bar we hold for Halo, even in a work in progress state. So they knew it was whack. I think that was on Phil. I think Phil was like, oh, blah, blah. And they're like, it's not ready, Phil. Mr. Boss, Mr. Spencer's not ready. He's like, I want it out. Nah, it's got to launch. I was like, okay. And then they put it out. And they were like Phil was like there in the front. And everybody was like in the back, like, oh, shit. They're like, oh, damn, that looks, damn. Oh, look at the graph. Damn. Right? And then the backlash came. And they were like, I mean, I hate to tell you. I hate to say I told you so, Mr. Spencer. But we kind of told you so. It wasn't ready. It's like, but it has to launch with it. No. It's like, they knew. Look, Phil knows better. He should have known better. But it was like, yo, I know they're trying to be like, oh, we got to get the launch, but they got a freaking Halo anniversary. The 20th anniversary of Halo is coming up in November 15th, 2021. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on, son. It's perfect. It's like the stars aligned. Just delay it. It's okay. A good delayed game is good forever. Miyamoto, I think he said that. A bad game come out early is hot garbage. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what I'm saying. He's right. Anyway. As July was needed. Excuse me. July was indeed a very much work in progress slice of technology, and a reasonable set of key features from global illumination and dynamic time of day to GPU driven rendering and variable rate shading were all in active development. Much of the graphics team's capacity, along with that of some key technical artists, was focused on achieving high resolution and performance leading up to the demo, which 4K 60, which meant several of these features didn't quite get the level of polish and bug fixing that was warranted. That's why you saw the pop in and stuff, right? Because honestly, come on, son, pop in. It's like, yeah, that's not ready. You know what I mean? So, it's like it just doesn't make sense. Visual fidelity is a very important goal for Halo Infinite, and the graphics and art teams have been continually aspiring and working closely with each other to create the best looking Halo game ever. I definitely want to acknowledge the input that we got from the Halo community and our fan base. Staying open to critical feedback and looking at areas we can learn and do better is an inherent part of our culture at 343. So these are some of them graphics. You look at that, it's like, okay, that looks good. It's like, okay, I don't see nothing wrong with that. In-engine render, right? I don't see nothing wrong with that right there. Look at that. Look at that. Does that look bad? Does that look like Craig to you? That don't. Even the Warthog in the back. You see the Warthog in the back? That Warthog look real good. A little shiny and stuff. Shiny. How many more? Tell me them all down. Let's see. AS says, I guess, let me read this. There's no denying that the return of a classic art style immediately evokes the unmistakable look of Halo. When it comes to visual fidelity, the team has been making progress since July, and we can see in some of the latest images we're sharing here today. Can you talk about some of the specific areas the team has been working on? AS says, on the graphics technology front, we have made improvements along with bug fixes that weren't inherent to some of the techniques, as well as iterating and polishing the features that were still in development. Some of the key areas of progress include better quality of global illumination, ambient occlusion, shadows, volumetric lighting, sky, and atmosphere. We also addressed the issues of our GPU-driven rendering and texture streaming solution that should mitigate the LOD popping and texture quality issues that were prevalent in the July demo. There is more to be done, of course, and we are actively partnering with Neil and Sparth's team to drive the visual quality forward in both an engineering as well as an artistic front. In addition to the graphics changes, we have made a lot of improvements on the art content side across all disciplines, such as environment, lighting, weapons, FX, and more. There is much to cover here, but I'll just talk through some of the more impactful changes in my mind. Firstly, there's been a lot of work done retuning our dynamic lighting values to add much more punch and contrast to the image. These include adjustments to our sun intensity, fog, and atmosphere, and the addition of color grading, which did not make it into the July gameplay demo. We've improved some of our materials to get some more specular response, more wear and tear on weapons and vehicles, more fidelity in our characters, and more macro breakup on large surfaces like rock terrain and hex walls. We're now also getting more of our textural detail coming through in the final frame thanks to the sharpening process that our graphics team has added. This helps offset some of the natural blurring of temporal anti-aliasing, and it certainly helps our assets shine. So, in just that, bunch of paragraphs, it kind of resolves a lot of the issues that people were talking about, because no one was complaining about, oh man, that gameplay is whack, or oh man, look at the frame drops. Nobody said nothing about it. It was all about the graphics. It was all about the graphics, environment, graphics, right? And so basically they're saying, yeah, our graphics was whack, environment was whack, everything was kind of whack as far as what it looked like. But what they were focused on as far as frames and resolution, they hit the target. So I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. Speaking of improvements on the art content side, one of the big outcomes from our demo was the emergence of the now world renowned Craig. While we and the internet have come to love dear Craig, we know he wasn't his best self back in July. Can you give us any updates on Craig and as he stands today? Firstly, I can confirm that the facial animation on NPCs was not fully implemented in that build, which resulted in Craig's incredibly deadpan, lifeless look. All characters are modeled in a neutral pose prior to blend shapes and animation being applied. Yeah. So poor old Craig was never intended to be seen in that condition, which is not something. Excuse me. That was evident during the gameplay. It was only later in the close-up freeze frame of his one bad moment where it came to light and the legend of Craig was born. I think also, I don't know if there's any per object motion blurring. If there was motion blurring on stuff like that, then his face would have been blurred because it would have been hit, and I think it would add to a better look. I mean there is some motion blur, but I don't think it's that high. So I think they might beef that up a little bit, but I'm not too sure. There's further work to be done on the material fidelity and more variety added to Brute's faces. We're also working to add some hairdos and beards, which was something we hadn't got to in July. So whilst we have come to love our dear Craig, he's certainly undergoing a significant makeover. They need to have Craig, a literal Brute named Craig. He needs to have his own little side story, Craig's journey, the legend of Craig. I don't know what they want to call it, but do that. He needs to have his own mission. For real. This is a prime opportunity. People making fun of Craig, but people love Craig right now. I kind of want a Craig shirt. I'm just saying. They made Craig shirts. Anyway, Legend says, I said if you want the gameplay was whack, what do you mean showcasing a grappling hook as a new innovation in the game? Step up, son. We got hero shooters out there shooting dragons out there. Bo. Come on. Oh boy. Bo. I mean, you gotta remember it's Halo. So Halo can't veer too far off the Halo path, but they can do some things that make it, I guess, more visceral, faster, just feel better, overall better. It's kind of like what Destiny is. Like, you see the evolution of Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach to Destiny 2. It's the same thing that Halo Infinite needs to be. It needs to be like, I don't want to say it needs to be like Destiny. It's really about, a lot of it is about the enemy animations, and it is about the movement. So, you know, that's one thing they have to nail. You know, the 30 seconds. And Joseph Staten said that it was there when he played through the campaign twice. The campaign is done. They just got to make it all pretty and stuff. They have a year to make it pretty, so it's like, I think they're gonna make it pretty. But Joe said, "Yo, I mean, I know he's the boss there, so he's not gonna say bad things about it, but he's like, yo, it's good. It's like, I like it." So I was like, all right, cool. I mean, that's not exactly what he said. Legend said it has to grow with the times. It's old. It feels old. It needs to be updated. It is. It actually, if you think about it, right? Like before, people are dumb. People are complaining. Oh, why you have a sprint in Halo? It's like because regular Halo with no sprint is hot garbage. I refuse to play any Halo that doesn't have a sprint. I'm like, this is so slow. I have a thing about slow. If a game is slow, it's like, why am I so slow? And that's what the first Halo was. First and second Halo. Did they add sprint in 3? I think they added sprint in 3 or Reach, or one of the two. But yeah, they need to make it. And the thing is like, I saw Halo Infinite. When I saw the Halo Infinite demo, I was like, oh, that's all right. He was jumping here and doing that. I was like, all right, you know what? That's not bad. That's all right. Boss says, LOL, Halo Combat Evolve on PC. Ouch. Yeah. I mean, I heard it looks good, but no. It's so slow. There's no running in Halo. I'm like, it was good for 20 years ago, but not now. And yeah, I agree with you, Legend. It does have to get better, get with the times. But they can't copy like COD because that's not what Halo is. You know, they can't copy anything else. They just have to incrementally improve what Halo is, and a lot of what Halo was or is, particularly in multiplayer, was the crazy physics. They need to keep those crazy physics that like bing boom boom, be like boom, you hit a freaking grenade and your warthog goes flipping and flying up and in the air and stuff. They had, what did they call those? It wasn't the rocket jump. It was a grenade jump or something, where you throw a grenade, you time it just right, and you jump on it, and the explosion pushes you up to places where you usually couldn't go. I was like, that's just because the physics were the way that they were, and stuff like that needs to stay. You know, those little things need to stay. It's just like in Sea of Thieves, it was a bug that they kept in the game because it's when you go to charge, and it's like a lunge. You do a lunge with your sword, and you could shoot across, not across the world, but you could do like across water and stuff. It's pretty dope to get to your ship faster. And they were like, do not fix this freaking rare, you can leave that in, and they left it in because everybody was using it and it was dope. And I was like, okay, it's a bug, but hey, it works and people like it, so they left it in. You know, just like the creeper in Minecraft was a bug, and they made it into a character, you know, enemy type, mob type. So it's like, you know, sometimes like unexpected things that happen in your game, it's like, oh, that's not supposed to be like that, but it's kind of fun, so let's go. You know, so that's where I played Halo the first. Oh, you played it on PC? Ah, yeah. No, I played it on Xbox, original Xbox, and it was good. I mean, things about like video games now, we're just starting to get back to 60 frames a second. Everything 60 frames. Remember, I mean, you guys, I mean, we remember, but some people don't remember. Like a lot of ponies, young ponies, don't realize that every game used to be 60 frames. Back in the day, I mean, we had slowdown and stuff, but back in the day, Sega, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all them games was 60 frames because that's what the TV did. TV did 60. I mean, it was refresh rate. So, and then 3D games came out, and frame rate dropped. You know, I mean, not all right away, but you know. Anyway, back to this. Did I just read all this? Major printer taking. Oh yeah, no, I didn't. Oh, did I? Did the primary difference sheer density? I didn't read this. From a graphics technology perspective, the majority of the rendering pipeline and rendering techniques are shared between interior and exterior spaces. Very similar shading models, shadowing algorithms, and post-processing effects are used in either case. All right, wait a second. The majority of rendering pipeline and rendering techniques are shared between interior and exterior spaces. Okay. But doesn't... Okay. Where the primary difference comes into play is the sheer density of content in the expansive outdoor environment and the challenges that brings in authoring the content at scale. And then at runtime, efficiently streaming all that data and rendering it at a smooth 60 frames per second at high resolutions. Another difference is unique to exterior environments is the seamless time of day, which requires a more dynamic global illumination approach, along with providing various knobs to control the elements of lighting, sky, and atmospheric and color grading as time progresses. This is the first time that a game in the Halo franchises has had to tackle either of these challenges, and so the team had to spend a lot of cycles building and optimizing engine and tool chain functionality to facilitate this experience in Halo Infinite. Nice. The bugs in Left 4 Dead, says Bonds. I used to call Halo the brown and green game. Pretty much. I mean, now, you look at that. I like those graphics. Wait, did I miss a lot of this stuff right here? At a high level, the approach of our processes are pretty similar between the two. We go through stages of construction and polish of our modeling, texturing, and lighting, and we are also building our assets in a modular way that facilitates their reuse in different scenarios. That's smart. A lot of this stuff like nobody cares about. They just want to play the game. But a lot of this is interesting to like me because I'm in Blender. I'm dipping diving in Blender, and everything that they're saying is like, yup. You know, lighting is hard, especially if you're talking about ray tracing, or if they're talking like, say if like, let's imagine this, right? If they use ray tracing and they use like an HDRI for the environment so that the sun is the sun, right? And they use an HDRI which illuminates the entire map, right? And so if the HDRI, which is the sun, and so if they create an HDRI, it has a sun and it has a moon, it has basically the whole revolution. Picture it as a spear, a 360 image, but one side's the sun, one side's the moon, and it's nighttime on one side, that's the moon side, and daytime on the sun side, and it's just a perfect image, a spherical image that they just rotate basically. And they have to get all of the lighting values correct as far as intensity of the sun, intensity of the moon, stars, all this stuff. And then they have to have the ray tracing, if they're going to use ray tracing, to reflect and actually reflect off of those intensities the values that they apply to the sun and moon and such. And so, I mean, and that's just the HDR, right? That's just the environmental sphere lighting, sun and moon and stars. Now you have everything else. You have the actual lights on objects in the environment, and that's a whole another ray tracing thing. That plus shadows. It's a lot, and the thing is lights take up a lot of processing. I'm rendering stuff. If I have one light, boom, that thing pops in real quick. If I don't have like ray tracing, if I'm not in cycles. But if I got mad light sources, all kind of stuff, everything's reflecting and bouncing, it takes forever. So imagine that in real time. And that's what that's the challenge that they're facing, and they're trying to do 60 frames at 4K. So I think that what's going to happen is, I think they're going to have a performance mode, basically a performance mode and a whatever mode, right? Performance and a pretty mode. The pretty mode is still going to be 60, but I think it's going to be machine learning upscaled to 4K. So it'll be, at worst, I would say 1080p ML'd up to 4K. I would say best case scenario, somewhere higher than 1440p, maybe 16 something, or even 1800p, upscale. They might just need a little bit of room, to get those 60, to keep those 60 frames and still, have all the ray tracing. And that's what I'm saying with ray tracing, that's what I'm saying. At a high level, the approach of our processes are pretty similar between the two. We go through the same stages of construction and polish and modeling, texturing, building assets, different scenarios. The big difference is that typically our interior spaces are somewhat more linear, controlled, and constructed spaces built from hard surfaces, meaning lots of metal reflections and more curated lighting. When creating the large open environments, natural environments, this involves many more organic assets, meaning our biomes and terrain are one of the main focuses. Obviously, with multiplayer maps, collaboration with designers is key. Layouts, sight lines, and player navigation are crucial, and are all things that we iterate on constantly as we fine-tune the experience. There's something really cool about the juxtaposition between the intimate and expansive spaces of Halo Infinite, and whilst they each offer different challenges, they should bring a nice balance and variety to the experience. Cool. The extra time has already yielded progress on the visual fidelity front, but we're still not done. Can you talk about remaining priorities and the work the team is focused on? On the graphics engineering side, we have a team that is continuing to polish up the last bits of feature work on lighting, global illumination, and atmospherics. We're also iterating very closely on Neil's team on making sure our content creators can take full advantage of the cool technologies we have built over the past couple of years, meaning Forge, I think. Optus is boring. Talk about the Game Awards, how Sony won more awards than Xbox. The Game Awards is not looking good right now because of The Last of Us winning so many awards, and the fact that people don't really like that game and don't really like that studio and don't really like Neil Druckmann. You notice Neil Druckmann got promoted, so he probably won't be. I don't know if he'll be making games. Well, he's working on the HBO series, right? The Last of Us 2. So, is he gonna write games now, or is he gonna be working on TV shows now, right? So who's gonna replace him? And he's still gonna get that same quality. Who knows? On the graphics engineering side, I think I said all that. Heads down into the pipeline. On the art side, it's mostly further polish and bringing it all together. We have a concept of content complete. Further polish, oftentimes significant DPD, set dressing. Yeah, so they're just making it prettier, which is good. Now we have these. Look at those graphics. So I love this warthog in the back. Come on, give me that. Give me that in focus. Look at those graphics, son. Oh. That looks good. That's 4K, yo. That's 4K. We can talk about Sony. Oh, I read. I didn't get to the end. I started reading I think I was watching a video of the ending of Bug Snacks. I heard the ending of Bug Snacks is pretty special. I heard it was not for kids, which is kind of weird. I was like, wait, it's a kids game, but it's like there's some kind of themes in there that aren't. So I haven't finished that. So I'm gonna finish that. I should have finished it for today, but I forgot. But like this, right? This is a work in progress, right? Scorpio Punch armor coating, work in progress. In engine rendering. So that's 4K. Looks like a video game. I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that looks like a game. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, wait, is there ray tracing? And I see, well, that looks like you can't tell because it's in the shot, so that could be SSR, who knows. But still looks good, right? So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's ray traced or not, right? But reality is that the game's gonna have to single player at least is gonna have to be ray traced in order for it to pop the way it needs to. They can do tricks and stuff, but I think it would be a gargantuan task to light the whole open world with dynamic dynamic lighting and have like the actual accuracy of what ray trace shadows / reflections and all that stuff. I don't think you can't do it. It's just not accurate enough. And the little things, like if you look at the shadow right here, right? And you can see there's a bounce lighting that's happening. The light is hitting here and it's bouncing back and illuminating partially this side of his leg. And that's what ray tracing really is about the bounce. And that little bit of reflective light that's hitting the inside of his leg that gives you the detail, but it isn't just flat looking garbage. It's a little subtle thing, but it gives the realism. It makes it look better. And it's the same thing. I was in Blender and I rendered one scene in Eevee, which is no ray tracing, right? It's just like video games without ray tracing. And then I did it in Cycles and it took forever in Cycles. It took 10 times as long as Cycles. But it looks so much better. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a beastly computer so I could do this in freaking Cycles with real ray tracing, path tracing. It would be so good. My CG would be so good. It would be way better. Sorry. Legend says, you could talk about how my PlayStation 5 hard drive is maxed out with only 9 games on the system, of which came with the system. Let's talk about how the Series S has only 350 gigabytes of storage. Let's talk about how Series S is only $299, baby. Man, people are underestimating the power of a cheap console. It's the same price as a Switch. I'm getting a Series S because it's so cheap. It's like, I want to get a next-gen console, but I don't want to spend $500 because I know in like 2, 3, 4 years, they're going to have a newer, better one. And then I could jump in. But without skipping a beat, or missing anything, I can get the Series S, still get all the content, right? But, I have to suffer a little bit, and that's fine. I'm fine with that because, honestly, I'm just going to use the Series S for streaming anyway, so I don't need 4K, Opti says, left my ass off. Series S, what a joke. It's not a joke. Opti, I'm telling you right now, Sony's going to try to do their own type of Series S to make a little cheaper PlayStation 5. I guarantee you they're going to try to get to $299 as fast as possible. It's going to be hard. They're going to try to do it because that's competition. Regardless of what you think about the Series S, still competition to PlayStation 5. Still competition. You may not think it is because, it's not even as powerful. Doesn't matter. If you could play the next-gen games, if you could play Fable, if you could play Forza Motorsport on the Series S, it doesn't matter. $299, I can play next gen. Sign me up. That's all. That's it. That's it. And as we keep progressing, Series S is like, what? There's ray tracing on the Series S? How did they do that? Oh, because it has the same freaking. It has not as many CUs, kind of like the PlayStation. There's only 36. Series S has 20. It has even less. And it's still. I'm not saying it's keeping pace with the PlayStation 5 because it's not. But it's like the Series S, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. That's the order of power. You know what I'm saying? And if you're looking at price and you're like, yo, I'm a cheapskate. I just want to get in where I fit in. Just give me it real cheap. I got the big box. I got the X. I got the PlayStation 5. The junior, he wants to be down. He's only 5. He's gonna play. He's not getting a PlayStation. He's getting an Xbox Series S. Let's be real. He's only playing Fortnite and Minecraft. Let's be real. He's getting the Series S. That's what it's for. You don't understand, Opti? We are like, oh yeah, we gamers and we gonna get the good stuff. So many families, so many people who were gamers back when we were young, right? They now have children's. They trying to get their children to play, or they're already playing. They want the new console. They're not gonna buy a $4.99 PlayStation. They're not gonna buy a $3.99 PlayStation because they probably don't work. But besides that, they're like, this is for Junior. This is for little Gigi. You getting the $2.99. I'm sorry, you getting the $2.99. Sorry, you want one? Yeah, Daddy. Well, guess what you getting? That's what it's about. That's what it's about, Opti. Opti says Series S is going to struggle with games a few years from now. No, it's not. They just lower the resolution and lower the settings. Come on, son. You know how they do this. It's not going to struggle. It's the same innards. Bond says they underestimate how I won't buy either console in 2020. Bonds. Opti says it's already struggling. Can't even do 1440p 60. Doesn't matter, Opti. If it can play the games, it can do 1080p 60. Doesn't matter. With ray tracing. It's doing Watch Dogs with ray tracing at like low settings. I'm like, oh, all right. Shoot. I didn't think it would. Oh, okay. I think is that 900p? I don't even know. It's like low resolution, but they're upscaling. And once again, you realize that the APIs and all these things, the tools aren't really ready. So once they get all that stuff rolling, the Xbox Series S is going to be kind of nice because they're going to have that ML upscaling. So you get 1080p native, they can upscale that to 4K. You realize that the Series S can output it. It outputs at 4K. It just doesn't render internally at 4K. So it can render it internally at 1440p. I don't know what the max is. 1080, it doesn't matter. Upscale it, ML, upscale it to 4K. Output it to. It's the same thing. Think about it, Opti. It's the same thing that the PlayStation 4 Pro does. It renders it at a lower resolution, upscales it through checkerboard rendering, and outputs it at 4K. It's the same exact thing that the PlayStation 4 Pro does, except ML learning, the machine learning upscaling technique is the same as I totally forgot what it's called on NVIDIA's thing, but it's basically the same thing. Looks better than checkerboard rendering. And I kept seeing the video. I was like, damn, okay, they're going to use a lot of, this generation is going to be a lot of machine learning upscale stuff. Really will be. I'm sorry, I'm missing. Legend says, but now you just gonna have to pay $200 for a hard drive and just tack that onto your. Now I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that super hard drive. I'm gonna have a few games on the main drive. You know, the Series X games, the Series games. But all the backwards compatible stuff, I'm leaving it on regular drive. I'll probably get an SSD and plug it in the back, and that gives a bump in speed. But if I'm playing old games that are cross-gen or whatever, or not, optimized for the series consoles, I'm not, why would I stack up my new gen console with old ass games? You know what I'm saying? If like I said, Halo Infinite is going on the hard drive. Forza, the new Forza Horizon 5 going on the hard drive. There's a few games, it's like maybe 4 or 5 games. I probably can't even fit 4 or 5. Well, say if they average 70 gigs, because some games are like that. Then I might be able to stick enough games on there. But the cool thing about Xbox, which you can't do on a PlayStation, is that you can take Halo Infinite or the Median or Scorn. All next-gen titles, Fable. And you could store them on an external hard drive. You don't need to buy an internal SSD. You can get an external SSD, which I plan to do, store it there, and then when you want to play it again, you can either play it off that SSD. No, you can't. If it's a series, you have to play it off the internal. Just pop it back. You can't do that on a PlayStation. So you over here talk shite, like, oh, blah, Xbox, blah. There's so many things you can't do on a PlayStation. You can't even put in an external hard drive on your PlayStation. Did they patch that yet? Did they patch your fans? Yes, they did patch your fans, because if you notice, your fans are louder right now. Don't you notice that? Because them consoles was like, oh, it's so quiet, and it's resetting, and it's rebuilt, and it's too hot. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. That PlayStation is definitely wait for when they shrink that damn boy. So you're saying I can play the new Halo at 20 frames per second on my Series X? Sign me up. No, it's not. What are you? Legend. Come on now. You know how it is. Series S is going to be a beast. It's going to be a little baby beast. It's like Godzilla. The X is Godzilla. The S is Godzuki. Goofy looking, still powerful. Blowing smoke rings at you. I never liked the way Godzuki looked. He always looked goofy to me. Bond says, I have 6 nieces. They now trying to play video games with uncles. Their parents gonna have to buy the consoles. Telling you, buy them X's. I mean S's. Buy them S's. Opti says, PlayStation hater. Bye, Felicia. Oh, later, Opti. Later, Pace. Come on, son. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying there's some deficiencies on the PlayStation side that people are just ignoring. And Legends has brought one of them up. That his hard drive is full and he cannot expand the hard drive. He can't put... I mean, you could put an old hard drive on there, but you can only play PlayStation 4 games off of it. And you can't back up your PlayStation 5. It's so crazy that it's so confusing on PlayStation, right? It's like, oh, you go to download a game, it doesn't tell you which version it is. So you download one, it's download. You have a PlayStation 5, it's downloaded the PlayStation 4 version. I'm like, why would it even download the PlayStation 4 version of a game? That's Sony's bad. On Xbox, it automatically says, oh, you got an Xbox Series X. Let me get the right version for you. Boop. And it does it automatically. No questions asked. You go from one console to another. You go, oh, let me load up my save. Boom. It goes, let me sync your saves. Boop. Here's your save. You can't do that on PlayStation. PlayStation don't sync saves like that. You got to be like, okay, which one do I have to grab? You got to go through a list. Man, PlayStation got issues. Legend says, how many gigs of storage does the Series S have? It has 512, but after it's all said and done, it's 354. So 364, I think. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. I'm like, I was looking at that. I was like, yeah, that sucks. It sucks. Legend says, I can download and install 100 gigabytes in 16 minutes. I timed it. Yeah, that's one thing I think they definitely fixed or improved upon is the download speeds on PlayStation 5. Because I heard the PlayStation 4 download was like hot garbage. Hot garbage. So they definitely did that thug this. So they definitely improved it in certain areas when it comes to PlayStation 5. But design-wise, no. Console's way too big. I think the main reason is that the console's too big. Like, if it was smaller, it'd be cuter. Like, oh, snap. Legend says 354. Do you know Cyberpunk's 200 gigs? Come on, man. Throw that S in the trash. Well, that's the last gen version. They don't know what the next gen version is going to be because they haven't done it yet. So they haven't optimized. They haven't done all that stuff yet. So they're running last gen. They do the multiple, iterations of, especially on an open world game like that. They have to have different, like, think of an open world game like kind of like Minecraft, like different blocks, right? So not blocks as in city blocks, but blocks of rendered area of the city, right? So Minecraft says, how many blocks do you want to render out? And it gives you like how far to the horizon that you can see, detail wise. And so that, like, most open world games work that way. Well, I think they all do, where it loads up a certain amount of blocks, and then when you pass into the next block, it'll stack on the next block at the end. You know what I mean? And that way you have a radius of city or information around you at all times, making it the open world. And in doing that, they have to, let's say, in each, like, say if there's a telephone pole or a light, street light or whatever, or a traffic light, they would have to replicate, like, say one block has 10 and the next block has 20 or whatever. They would have to take that object and replicate it in that next block on the hard drive, wherever, because that's how they built it for mechanical old hard drives. But with the SSDs, they don't have to do that because they can draw from the same location of that one street light or traffic light. They don't have to have multiple traffic light, and that saves on storage. So, and if you're thinking about how many different objects are in a world when it comes to that type of stuff, like they're not big items, but when you multiply it by 500, then it becomes a lot. So they can just minimize that to maybe 10 or something. It's better. And they don't even have to do that because the speed is so fast. They can just have one in their library and just pull it up when they need it. So, but that's why it's. I thought it was like 190 something, but whatever. Legend says you can't play Call of Duty on the asshole. It won't fit. Oh, it'll fit. It'll be the only game on there, but it'll fit. And besides, you can not, you don't have to put zombies or all that stuff. You can just put the campaign, and then when you're done with the campaign, you delete the campaign, then you put the multiplayer, and then you're done with the multiplayer, you put the Warzone. When you're done with the Warzone, you play another game. But yeah. But once again, Call of Duty's last gen, so you can put it on the external hard drive on the Xbox. Yeah. But I didn't ask you how you enjoying the PlayStation 5. Is it dope? Is it all the things you dreamed it to be? I think it's cool. Did you hear what you just said? You just said you can't play the whole game on one hard drive. No, I didn't say that. I don't even know what it all amounts to, but you can, because there's no way that game is over 300 gigs. That's not. No. It's probably close to 200, but yeah, you could put everything on there. It's just that'd be the only thing you could play. And that's why they split it up. Because that game is huge. It's like the biggest game. It's like the biggest game. I don't know if there's any other game that's as big as COD. I mean, Halo Master Chief Collection is close. No, it's not. It's 100 and what's Halo Master Chief? It's 100 and something. Warzone is 200 gigs. Come on, son. I don't believe you on that. Hold up. Let me look. I don't think you tripping. How big is COD Warzone? 170. Stop exaggerating. Why are you exaggerating, yo? 170 on the PS4. The moment total storage requirement for Modern Warfare. Oh, see, that's the whole thing. See, you full of shit, man. At the moment, if players have every available mode downloaded, the total storage space requirement for Modern Warfare, including the free-to-play Battle Royale Warzone, tips the scales at 170.9 gigabytes on PlayStation 4. That's 170. There are games in Epic client that's pushing the 100 gigs. So yeah, 170 for everything, legend. So yeah. You maniacs, you made over 200 gigs. What is this? See, now there's something different. That's the PC version? I don't know, maybe just the PC version. So why is this one bigger and the other one is not? What's and continue with ad block. I don't care. This was in August. Wait a second. So it might be different now. 201 gigs for Modern Warfare. Is that everything? I think that's everything. So what? So yeah, this was a while ago. The latest COD file size is 242. But yeah, but that one says 170. So wait a second. So we gotta get down to this. We gotta get down to this. Legend says, I wish I could put a picture in my hard drive. Use space on where it would shut you up. Wait, I wish I could put a picture of my hard drive use space on here. Oh, okay. Okay, I believe you. But okay, so that's the PlayStation 4 version. Oh boy, 207. But what about next generation on PS5? A backwards compatible version of Modern Warfare will almost. So yeah, that is the backwards compatible version of Modern Warfare. So that's a PlayStation 4 Pro version, I guess. Yeah, I had a little hiccup in my internet, so hopefully I'm still there. So it's actually bigger. It's 207. Ugh. That's crazy. So why is it bigger? Let's see. Newest Call of Duty, massive file size is bigger than more than 100. So okay, so the next gen version is not as big as 200. Okay. Here's a full breakdown of file sizes across all platforms. So wait a second. Take up roughly 40 gigabytes. Wait, another source of pain is buyers for PlayStation to take up roughly additional. So PlayStation is 95, PlayStation 5 133, Xbox 93, Xbox Series 136. So where is this? Why is it 200? I don't understand. Legend says, I'm telling you, Call of Duty Warzone of Call of Duty War and Punk. That's my whole hard drive. Oh, word? Damn. Call of Duty Warzone, Call of Duty. So Call of Duty Warzone, I would say everything, and Cyberpunk is your whole. Yeah, pretty much. That's 4. Yeah. Well, you got another maybe 2 or maybe 1 something, right? So you could put another little game in there. Call of Duty in terms of. So I'm wondering. Currently, Modern Warfare with Warzone combined totals more than 173 on my PS4 Pro, and that's with the campaign installed. Okay. So. Yeah, see, 364 is what is on the S. So if you, the thing about the S is that it plays Xbox One S versions of the game, which would be this one, 93. So the games are going to be automatically smaller because they don't use the high resolution texture packs and stuff. So yeah. That's so weird, man. The standard install is also shrunk from 175 to 82, while the multiplayer portion 35. So that's PC though. So they're still not explaining why. So it's one on the Pro. It's 173. So wait, okay. So PS4, so that's 100. So it's 100, well 9500, and then it's another 70 or 80. I say 80. So PlayStation 5. So that I don't understand. They're not breaking it down. They're not breaking down the numbers right. Either these are the okay. So these aren't the numbers because dude says PS4 Pro is at 179. Sorry, 173. You're saying you have 207, which is what a lot of people are saying. 207. So when does this come out? November 4th. Huh. I don't get it, man. It's like so many different freaking numbers. So, okay, so you got 207. You got everything installed. You have to have the last gen version. You have that PS4 Pro version. Do you have the PS4 Pro version or do you have the PS5 version? Let me know. I would assume it's PS5, but it says right here the PS5 version is only 130 something, right? But that doesn't make sense. Because like I said, unless you have the old gen version, and like I said, they're bigger. If they're using bigger, I don't know. My brain stopped. It's just stopped. It said, nope, don't care. All right, so I guess we can end this stuff here. The principal pillars, blah, blah, blah. I mean, a lot of stuff is interesting as far as this stuff goes, but when I'm thinking about the next gen stuff and the different consoles, yeah, the X is cool, but the S is what I'm gonna go for. I already got the new controller, and it's pretty dope. I got the Shock Blue at the box somewhere around here, and it's pretty dope. Look at them graphics, man. Look at them graphics, boy. Hey, Master Chief. That's not Master Chief, but you know what I mean. Hi. I'm gonna mush you in the face, but I can't because my. Anyway, I'ma end it because my internet is whack. I'ma end it. Yeah, that was the Master Chief one that looked like Master. That's the one that looks most like kind of Master Chief, but it's not him. That's cool. It's like that. I like the camo's kind of cool, but yeah, Oh, I wanted to look at this real quick. Now they said this is okay. So this is artwork. This is not gameplay. This is not a screenshot. The armor and all those are screen. This is not a screenshot because look at this. You can see the brush strokes. This is concept art. And people saying, "Oh, it's not concept art." I was like, "Yeah, this is concept art. And while it looks alright, look at the warthog. Look at that. You can see the brush strokes. Unless they got some old concept art brushstroke filter. But yeah, so I'm like, eh. But yeah. That when I downloaded this, like, wait a second, that's not the game. What the hell is this? But yeah, I'm excited now. I seen these graphics, I was like, okay, you know what? They're good now. Look at that. I'm going. Look at that. And that's multiplayer stuff. I'm like, yo, that looks good, buddy. That looks good. Look at that. That looks better than, So anyway. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Oh, where's my music to bounce out of here? I gotta bounce because I am sleepy time boy and I have to work tomorrow. We're not gonna listen to that. When will I guess I'll play that one. I always play this one. But let me read the people in chat. Pacey's there. Hi, Pacey. Alt, Arioka, Burr, DC Nate, Derek H, Havoc978, Hey Jude, Nox, Sonic, Meadow, MXT, Shadow Next Gen, Sub Z, Tiger Claw, and Watch Dragon. Appreciate you hanging out. Legend, Bonds, I'm gonna Opti, appreciate you, Pace. Everybody else, Kajudo, you weren't here today, that's fine. But yeah, I'm gonna bounce now because I need sleepy times, and I need foodie times because I'm hungry all the time. But I appreciate you guys, I really do. Until next time, tilt the weight.